Hello and welcome back to Bricking It. Today we're going to be looking at one of my largest individual mocks, if you don't count Hogwarts. We're going to be exploring my updated version of my Ministry of Magic mock. So this is how it displays on the shelf when not in use, designed to look like a collection of books of the same cover design, all stacked up neatly together. And these are my books of wizarding lore as it is a ministry display. At 16 stud deep, compared to my usual 10, I've had to make some extra side parts. You can see these covers are not attached to the mock, because they're only there to cover up all that ugly brickwork. So here the mock is down on the table. This is how it looks immediately after it comes out of storage. Obviously we've got a big fiery dragon in the middle, but we're not going to spend too much time dwelling on him right now. We'll come back to him a little bit later. So here's our atrium build, minus dragon. Let's have a little tour around what we've got. Underneath we have our Department of Mysteries, we're going to look at that later, and above we have some minifig storage. So these are all of the ministry named characters, as well as a number of mocks I've made to bimble around in the background, just making the scene look nice and full. A number of figures for depicting various different scenes in our atrium and beyond. So here we are back in our atrium. Let's have a little look at what we've got. Just on this side you can see we've got an allusion to the archway that leads into the flue corridor where everyone enters the ministry. We've got a little Flue network fireplace, and we can also have our visitors entrance phone box as well. And we have Harry looking fairly concerned. Obviously we don't need our phone box all the time, as you saw it just appeared out of seemingly nowhere. And we've actually got a little storage space for that up here in the top of the arch. It's a modified version of the one that came in the original Ministry of Magic. Also in this little back storage area we've got the Magic is Might statue, in case we want to do Deathly Hallows scenes. That replaces the statue of Magical Brethren. This is a design I found online. I got all impressed with myself when I started building this nice and quickly. I thought, oh, I'm a genius. But no, it turns out I'd seen it before and it was lodged in the back of my memory. Really must find the original owner so I can credit him in the video. And if I manage to find that, you should see that on the screen now. So this is all made with white brick, a couple of plain white minifigures, and that can just sit in our fountain base if we decide to do Deathly Hallows. Okay, so obviously we saw that nice big dragon at the beginning, and this is for a Order of the Phoenix scene where Dumbledore and Voldemort fight. I just made this up using the parts for the Fiend Fire that came in the Room of Requirement set from last year, and also a few extra pieces of those large macaroni bricks. And as there's no connection point for that, I just use these large flame pieces and they nestle in against the serpent build, and they're just going to hold it in location, so if I do lift up the mock or tilt it, not going to come sliding out. And once we've got a few of those fire pieces in, it adds to the overall fiery effect and also locks our serpent in position. Obviously we can have Voldemort and of course Dumbledore, and that can be our change the fountain, and that can be our climax of the Order of the Phoenix Dumbledore versus Voldemort battle. So down below I mentioned we have the Department of Mysteries. So let's take a little look at that now. I'm going to remove that cover. Before we actually get into the nuts and bolts of what's down here, when this is stored away, we keep a few different things. We've got the propaganda leaflets on a table, and they match up with these windows that are plastered with propaganda for when Harry, Ron and Hermione are escaping the ministry. We've also got a few different designs of daily profits and a basic little newsstand here, because when we see Harry and Arthur entering the ministry, there's a wizard touting copies of the Daily Prophet to all of the people coming in and out. And that just sits up in the atrium and displaying those scenes. One last bit we've got displayed here is the chair for the hearing room. As you can see, this is very deep. It's only about, I think, 12 studs deep, and it doesn't give us much space behind the veil, but luckily we can change that. So slid in the back here, we have amongst this pair of moments covers a small little mock of my Ministry hearing room. So obviously this is good for both movies in which the Ministry of Magic appears, with a slight change of the people in the trial chair and the people in the tribunal. We can display either of those hearing scenes. It's not a huge mop, but it does do the job and show off that courtroom. It's a nice compact build, and seeing it was the reason for Harry's visit to the Ministry in the 5th film, I thought I wanted to include it, and it packs away nice and easily back into its folded form. On the back I've got these 4 clips, and they're just going to locate themselves into this cutout brick, and there's just enough friction in that connection to stop that build falling out the side if I accidentally tilt the mock. You see I only went about halfway across the mock, because on the other side we have another little hidden build, and this one is the Hall of Prophecy. Now if you saw my other video on building the Hall of Prophecy, you see I did that in a big 16 by 16 base using the forced perspective and also lighting, but I knew that wasn't going to fit in this build. It was much too tall, much too deep, took up too much space. So I've rebuilt it, or a kind of homage to it, on this 16 or 14 by 6. You can see I've covered the inside in those transparent light blue bricks so that I can put some lighting in at a future date once I find a compact enough control unit. And again, got a couple of these rails that are going to locate into that recess in the brick and just hold our Hall of Prophecies. Now the good thing about this is that once we take out both of these, the Hall of Prophecies and the hearing room, the wall at the back of the veil room is actually built on hinges. So with a simple push, we can open up the veil room and get right in behind the veil. We've got this special little piece that I had to build. And it's not really necessary, you can't desperately see the gap between the two back walls. It just does fill the gap and provides a bit of tension on those, so if you accidentally slide your fingers in the back, you're not going to push the walls in and knock all the minifigures over. And as you can see, you can get all the way behind the veil if you want to display minifigures in the round. And I'll be showing this on display with some members of the Order of the Phoenix and some Death Eaters in an upcoming change of scene video. So there is our Department of Mysteries. Obviously if we don't need the Department of Mysteries, can use one of our cover sets just to hide that away, just so it doesn't draw away the eye from the atrium. So we're here in the atrium again. We're going to have a look into our stored area. Now obviously we had a little look at the statue a little earlier. Now we're going to have a look once more at the phone booth. So this is, as I said, a modified version from the Ministry of Magic. I wanted to make sure it was smooth on all 4 sides, so I made a couple of modifications. It's a very easy mod. If anyone would like to see how that was done, do let me know in the comments if it's a build you'd like to see. This side is looking a bit ugly with these colourful bricks at the side, so I'm still deciding whether to adjust my elevator to have the gold mesh doors, but it does require rebuilding that side and the mock quite extensively to make them fit. Here's our minifig storage going back on top. As you can see, it's not designed to look like anything, but it wouldn't be too much difficulty to change this back wall so that it looks like the corridor where Umbridge's office were. The sides, of course, are mimicking these pages so that when it's up on the shelf stored away, you don't see unsightly bits of minifigure. They're perfectly the right height to sit above 2 of these moments covers. And that pretty much concludes our tour for now. So there's our Ministry build. Got a few locations, got the atrium, the hearing room, the veil room and the Hall of Prophecies, All good for displaying minifigs, not so much the Hall of Prophecies, but it can be done. And over the coming weeks I'll be showing a few different scenes set in these locations in some future change of scene videos. If you'd like to see how any of the mini builds are accomplished, I can make individual videos on those. If you just let me know in the comments, I can get started on producing those videos. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave it a like, and to see more Words Ending World mock build, please subscribe to Brickinet. Bye bye.